Hey friends, I'm Scott Hanselman and it's Azure Friday. I'm here with JR and we're talking about DDoS protection, something that we all need.
Absolutely. It's one of our biggest risks for online service these days is availability of their site and the impact of a denial of service attack.
Isn't it something that's already built in? Like I have been on Azure for like 5 years. I've got like 20 websites. I have not even thought about it.
Yeah.
Have I forgot to check a box?
So this is a new feature that we're going to be launching in Ignite in late September. And so there is a platform feature available today. It's free, but it's a high watermark threshold. The mitigation kicks in at 10 gigabits per second. There's also no alerting, no telemetry, or no analytics associated with that free service.
Wow, okay, so that makes me feel like it would probably cost me a little bit of money before I found out I was being attacked.
This is a commercial solution that we'll be launching.
Okay, so I want to be like legit. I want to do this if I have any concerns about being attacked.
Absolutely.
Okay.
For the preview period, which is essentially starting now, it's free until GA.
Cool.
Yep.
And is this going to be reasonably priced and comfortable that people can use this? Anyone can use this?
Yeah, the way that we're pricing it is a pay-as-you-grow model to make sure that even lower-end sites or probably don't want to say that.
I'm lower end. I have no problem with that. You can call me lower end. I have a podcast,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's popular, sometimes it's not. If someone comes on the show that people don't like, maybe they'll attack the thing.
Yeah.
I want to be able to pay as I grow.
Yeah, so it's a pay-as-you-grow model, so there's a bandwidth meter associated with it, so the more traffic that your site does, the more that you pay for the service.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So how does it work?
So the basic construct of it is that it's enabled on a virtual network. And so the cool thing about being enabled on a virtual network is that we protect all the protected resource types on a virtual network. So the provisioning process is super simple. You just go into the DDoS protection blade, which is a new subblade under a virtual network, and there's a flag there for enabled and disabled. Because we're preparing for the session, the virtual network is already enabled.
Is this something that is like on by default, or I have to go and turn this on explicitly?
Yeah, it's either in a modify virtual network or in a create virtual network. There's going to be a flag there, but it's not explicitly turned on. You have to explicitly turn it on.
Okay.
And then another feature of this is there's going to be an Azure resource policy. So an organization can set an organization level policy that this must be enabled when a new VNet is created.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to do a simulated denial of service attack.
Seriously?
So yeah.
Hopefully not on my podcast.
And so we've set up a demo site here. It's basically just our product webpage. You can see that I hit refresh. The site's currently available.
Okay.
What we're going to do is I'll go through the metrics just so we can show that we're in a steady state right now. So the telemetry and alerting is through Azure Monitor. It's connected to the public IP resource. And these metrics they're basically available whenever a site is under mitigation or a site is essentially under attack. So you can see that the site's not currently under attack and your metrics are 0.
Makes sense.
And then the other thing to keep in mind is what you can look at is essentially the host network in and out traffic. So this will show you the traffic that's actually going to the VM as opposed to the traffic that's going through the mitigation system.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can see we were doing some preparation earlier. You can see a spike in traffic, but
Sure.
Right now
That was you practicing.
Me practicing. So we're going to pull up some trusty open source tools here.
Okay. Now you're not necessarily teaching me how to DDoS people, but it looks like you're doing a bunch of pinging.
Yeah, it's HPing, which is a open source like traffic generation tool.
Okay.
Yeah. So
now I'm not a super networking expert, but I know that it's distributed and it's meant to deny service. So the idea is that a whole bunch of people from places that are indistinguishable from real people, that's the part I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like if I have 1 million users and then 1 million DDoS evil people show up, now I got 2 million users.
Yeah.
How do I make sure that I deny the bad guys and take money from the good guys? Because I want to make sure I get their shopping carts checked out.
So that's the beauty of the service is that those sort of the patterns, the heuristics associated with attack traffic is our systems are intelligent to know the difference between what's good and bad.
Nice.
There's all kinds of checks that happen within our DDoS SDN to perform those checks and to make sure only the good traffic gets forwarded to the destination.
That's cool. So are you attacking me right now?
I am attacking right now. I've got 2 VMs set up in Asia, and so we're probably generating somewhere between 10 and 100 megabit per second
Seriously?
of attack traffic towards our sample site. I'll go to the site and...
Did you have to warn anybody? Because it seems like every time I try to do something like this, I get shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a normal process that you should...
You probably had to call someone and say, I'm going to be attacking
Yeah.
Scott from Asia for his show.
Pretty sure it's against our acceptable use policy to
To do what you're
to
doing?
do an attack, but obviously I've got clearance to
I
do
won't
that.
tell.
So we're going to watch, the first thing we're going to watch is the VM traffic. And so what we should see here, it takes a couple minutes for the metrics to refresh, but what we should see here is a significant spike in traffic.
So you're looking at the traffic over the past hour.
That's right.
That is the narrowest amount of time that you can look at?
That is the narrowest amount of time
Okay.
that you can.
So each of those is a couple minutes, each
interval is.
each dot?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to see a spike in traffic. So right now, your steady state was basically nothing, it looked like. You're less than a half meg
That's right.
a second.
Right. That
They-
was probably just polling traffic.
You only have 2 VMs going right now. Is that enough to be considered distributed? And like, should you have sent like thousands of VMs?
Yeah, I mean, for the purpose of the test, we'll do 2 VMs, but typically a denial of service attack, I guess we didn't really talk that much about the genesis of a denial of service attack, but essentially the way the technology works or the way that DDoS works is that people compromise PCs, they put some kind of a weaponized payload on it, and then they use that payload to have it join a botnet or join a DDoS attack network. And then the people that own those systems, they rent out resources, just like it's a cloud computing metered service. So you can pay $150 a week and you can rent out a DDoS botnet, and you can use that to launch attacks against anyone that you want. So in that
So
case,
mean.
yeah, in that case, it could be thousands, 10,000s, hundreds of thousands of machines that are compromised.
Oh, that sucks. Well, it's nice that we're going to have a way to fix that. So in a few moments here, we would expect to see a surge, so that you would see in your metrics, there it is, it's starting up right there. So you just went
Okay.
from a half meg, now you're looking at it just up to 180 megs or more.
Yeah, 180 megs of traffic. And so you'll see that there's obviously a huge difference between the incoming traffic and the outgoing traffic, and that's probably because our site, we'll see if it's still available. It's still available, which is good.
Are you expecting the site to tip over?
Normally you would, yeah.
Is it
Yes.
protected right now?
We'll see. So what you'll see is that there's an increase in traffic, and then you'll see pretty much an immediate decrease in traffic, and that's when the mitigation system kicks in. There's a delay between the metrics and the actual mitigation, though.
And the mitigation is what? It is you starting to like clamp down on?
Yeah, so we'll take the traffic that's destined for the VIP or the public IP that's being protected, and we'll route it through our global SDN. We're present in about 30 different Azure regions at this point. We have up to 15 terabits of mitigation capacity globally.
What does that mean, mitigation capacity? You're basically, everyone's jumped on the freeway at once. There's legitimate people who want to drive and they want to go somewhere. Are you putting them on some fake parallel freeway? Are they in the holodeck and they think they're driving, but they're not really?
We are putting them on a fake holographic freeway, I think was
Yeah,
the word
that's
that
pretty
you
good.
used.
You like
and,
that? Not a Star Trek
and-
fan, apparently.
Yeah, not a Star Trek fan.
It's all good. It's
but,
awesome.
But the way the technology works is we can tell of who's on that highway, we
Yeah.
can tell who's a valid driver and who's not.
So do the DDoS people think they're succeeding? They think they're getting
They
something?
think they're succeeding, yeah.
So that's the mitigation bandwidth.
That's the mitigation.
Am I
capacity.
paying for the mitigation bandwidth, or am I just paying for the service of you identifying who's a good guy and who's a bad guy and then taking them on the on-ramp?
You're paying for the service and then for your normal Azure resource costs, but there's not a cost for the actual. So if you get a 10 gigabit attack, you're not paying for that 10 gigabit of bandwidth.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So you can see the mitigation is kicked in. There's a few metrics here that are interesting. There's the inbound packets DDoS, inbound packets drop DDoS. So that's what we're actually dropping through the mitigation system. And then the inbound packets forwarded DDoS, which is the traffic that we're forwarding towards its original destination. So the traffic
interesting.
we're considering good. And so in this case, you can see it's virtually all dropped
So
packets.
you have to satisfy the DDoS people. You have to you have to give them bandwidth. Like you can't just block them.
No,
You can't just stop them. It's incoming. It is real traffic. It can't be stopped and denied. It has to be it has to run its course.
so we effectively stop and deny it, but we put it through a system where that toll system where you can tell whether it's real traffic, because you don't want to stop the good people as well.
Right.
So you put them through the toll system where you can filter out the bad and let the good pass through.
So the site is still up. Everyone who is a bad person has been sent over to the DDoS mitigation bandwidth.
That's right.
And my main site is fine, and I'm not paying anything for any bandwidth other than the initial amount that was not yet identified.
That's right. Your site's available. It's servicing customers. You can see when I reload, it's still responsive.
Now, is this a Microsoft thing, or what about other third-party products that are available? I know that there's appliances one can get, there's Cloudflare, there's different things out there. This is an Azure-branded service, and check a box.
Yeah, it's an Azure branded service, and I think that there's a few key differentiators. The first is obviously this has the platform intelligence of Azure, right? So it knows our telemetry, it knows how your NSGs are configured, it knows what you allow into your site, and so we can use that platform level intelligence of how it's configured to make mitigation decisions. So if you have only port 80 open and there's an attack port towards 8080, then we can filter out traffic towards 8080 because we know your NSGs.
So NSGs are network security groups. Why is that significant that you know about our security groups? If you know how I've set my network up, how does that give you extra information that is helpful?
Yeah, it's like the example where if you only want HTTP traffic to get forwarded to your site and someone launches a DNS attack against your site, we can filter that at the edge.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So can people set this up right away, or is this in preview?
Yeah, so this is in preview. We're calling a managed preview. There's a sign up page. It's aka.ms/DDoS protection.
I think you had it on your homepage. Maybe you could bring that up.
I did. Good idea. So this is the sign up page, and then there's obviously a product page as well that will be launched at Ignite.
Very cool. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. I am learning all about how to protect my site and your sites from DDoS attacks here on Azure Friday.